want to hear some dumb shit? I have an addiction. Now, the people who are close to me, they know this, and it's not a surprise. I don't know. I think it goes back to my childhood. What is my addiction? Milk. Yeah, that's right. Milk. You know how people could come home from a long day at work and they need to decompress. They need to take the edge off. And you see on TV shows, they'll go to their little bar or something in their house and pour themselves a shot of whiskey or just a little drink, just a little bit to let them come down. For me, it's an ice cold glass of milk. I don't know. I can't explain it. And I've actually sought some help because I know that even though it's like 1% milk or whatever, it's still not good for me at all. It's not good for my body. And it's probably it is the thing that's keeping me fluffy as hell. You know, but the thing about an addiction is you don't know that it's an addiction until you try to quit. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steve, Noop from the Ville, and we're here to talk about Doctor Who, Season 8, Episode 8. This particular episode is called Mummy on the Orient Express. Now, if you watch any of my other videos, especially here lately, what I'm not going to do is do a long recap. I'm going to keep this extremely short. And if you want to find out how I feel about this episode, go into the description and look where it says episode this analysis is based on, and you will see the full reaction between Sintel and myself, and then our discussion afterwards. I'm just doing the media therapy deep dive, which for this I'm calling Bad Choices. Clara is tired of the lying. She's been lying to the doctor. She's been lying to Danny. She's tired of it. And she says, you know what, for Danny, she's going to quit. She wants to have one last hurrah, one last, go. One last adventure with the doctor. And he takes her on the Orient Express. In space. Yes, the Orient Express is a real thing, but he takes her to the one that's in space. Now, it just happens to be a mummy, ancient legend that is on this train, and when people see the mummy, they're the only one that can see it, and they have like 66 seconds or something like that until they die. And once it starts, it's gonna kill you. The doctor accepted this mission, even though many times before they tried to lure him onto this train to figure it out. But since this is going to be one last go, he figured, why not? The doctor lies. That's rule number one. River told us that the doctor lies. But Clara has been lying so much, it has really started to make her unlikable. At first it was cute, but now it's so self-serving that it's no longer cute. And it makes her a liability in the field. Because if you're with someone you can't trust, that's not a person worth being with. You know that I love my quotes, and I have two quotes, and they were actually said in the show by Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor. He said that hatred is too strong an emotion to use on someone you don't like. Bars. He also said during the show, sometimes the only choices you have are bad ones, but you still have to make a choice. You know, for someone who played sports, middle school, high school, college, went off to the Army, came back with one of the best 12 packs, if I must say. You can wash clothes on these abs. It was spectacular. It was a lot of work that I did not want to do. Like having, a ripped up frame was god awful work. And it wasn't enjoyable. I don't mind having a really nice body, and I don't mind putting the work in, but that amount of work, because it was on a frame that I shouldn't have. I was really, really small. And I hadn't learned to accept who I was and the size that I should be. Now I am way past the size that I should be, and I know it. But I've still not got down to a happy place where I'm at a good size and on a good regiment as far as my eating, my nutrition, my health, my physical activity, my mental activity, emotional well-being, and spiritual productivity. And I highlighted those areas because I feel like if you get those areas together, everything else, your love life, your financials, the job, career, relationship with your kids, all that stuff will fall in place if you can get those key areas in your life fixed up. Clara, this episode was like an adrenaline junkie. She lied to Danny. She lied to the doctor. She couldn't quit. Something about being impossible, girl. She could not quit. She kind of lived for the adventure. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to go on adventures and enjoy yourself and enjoy life. You only have one. The saying often goes is, you can only live once. No, that's not true. You can only die once. You live every day. And you should live every day to the fullest, as if there is no tomorrow. Because for no man, tomorrow is promised. So I start off looking at this as addiction. The doctor has his own addictions. He has his own obsessions. And most of the time when you think of addictions, you think of things that are bad for you. Some people abuse drugs, alcohol, sex, people, hell, animals. I don't know what kind of weird shit people are into. But addiction, gambling, a lot of things can fall into an addiction, and addiction is an unhealthy place. So how does my story about milk even equate to anything like gambling or sex addiction or drugs or alcohol? Because every person has their own vice. I don't have any vices, for real. I'm taking care of my 4 kids, and my 4 kids are my world. But also because of that, I need my own comfort. Some people find comfort in food, and for many people, food can be an addiction. You've seen those TV shows, My 600-Pound Life or 1,000-Pound Sisters or whatever shit. People find comfort in food. And then they feel terrible because they realize they're big as a damn house and you have to remove a wall to get them out of there, and they feel terrible. So how do they comfort themselves? With more food. It's a vicious cycle, and most addictions are. Now, mine doesn't compare to those, but that is my cross to bear. Milk does a weird thing to my metabolism. My metabolism's already dead anyway. And that amount of fat that's in milk continues to add weight to me. And I do well with my fitness and nutritional health journey when I don't drink milk. But there is some sort of comfort in there. And me and my therapist have looked for that reason, and whatever it is, if it's a repressed memory or just something I simply cannot remember, I don't know where that comes from. There is a sort of zeal, a sort of just euphoria that comes over me when I drink super cold milk. But enough about me. Let's talk about addiction in general. Addictions are dangerous because they're so difficult to stop. Change is difficult for most people, but addictions are downright not impossible, but improbable is probably a better word. And when you're trying to kick any addiction, no matter what it is, it's going to be rough, and you're going to need help. You're going to need a support group. You're going to need determination. One of my weaknesses is lack of discipline. And I know it. And some things I'm extremely disciplined. But in some things that give me comfort, discipline goes right out the damn window. I was in the best shape of my life in the Army. Better than when I was playing football. But that was because I had a drill sergeant that yelled and screamed at me and got in my face and made me do what I need to do. And sometimes I kind of need that. Other times I'm my own drill sergeant, but sometimes some things I need it. How do you get through your addiction? First thing you gotta do is you gotta set a quit date. When are you gonna quit? Quit bullshitting, set the date, and mean it. Sometimes you need to change your environment. I have fasted. I have set times when it's not on my grocery list. I don't know what it takes for you to get past it. Sometimes you have to remove yourself from that environment. You know, you can't have someone who has a gambling addiction and be like, hey, why don't you go with me over here to the casino? We're going to hang out. You don't have to gamble, but just come hang out with me. What type of person are you to take a person that has that problem with you? You need to find other ways to distract yourself. And this does not mean get new obsessions, get new addictions. But you have to find meaningful things to take your mind off of that thing. Because why does your mind crave that thing? Something is missing. But until you fill that void, you will retreat to that thing. Because maybe that's helping you forget about problems that you have, some issues you have, some things that you haven't dealt with. How many times have you tried to quit? Have you reviewed all your past attempts? And they're past attempts because you failed. Why did you fail? And last but not least, create a support network. I know a lot of people think that they do shit on their own, but they don't. None of us do. Someone has helped you along the way. Maybe not as much as you like, maybe not when you want it, but someone helped you. And sometimes the thing is, a lot of people are being helped and they don't even know that they're being helped behind the scenes. And they have the unmitigated gall and audacity to say, I did this all by myself. The thing is, when I'm here working out, I am doing it by myself. I'm the one doing the push-ups, doing the sit-ups, doing the goddamn burpees. That's me. But the motivation to do it, that's my kids. That's other people that check in on me and be like, hey, you got this. In this particular episode became very awkward, and the Doctor and Clara were avoiding some awkward conversations. The thing is, I could have went a lot of ways with this media therapy deep dive. And I wanted to stay on addictions because I thought that the real thing was about lack of choices. We just covered one in Kill the Moon where we talked about impossible choices. There's not an impossible choice. It's just a bad choice. And like the doctor said, sometimes that's all you got. You have to deal the hand that you're given. Sometimes you don't have anything but bad choices. But you still got to make one. You have to make a choice. You can't let life handle you. You have to handle your life because it is yours. And even though people say you only got one, you are blessed to have that one. But if you're not living, All you're doing is waiting to die. And that's not a life worth living. Be bold today. Be strong. Life is too short for you to waste it, waste emotions, waste energy on hating other people. Life is too short for you to waste time lamenting over bad choices that you've made, regrets that you have. Okay, it happened. Let's move forward. If you knew better, you do better. So do better. Only you can break the cycle. This is Rakai Steed, New from the Ville. Make sure that you like, comment, share this as much as possible. Leave me some comments. I actually want to read about your addictions, and is your addiction ruling you, or are you handling your addiction? I would say fetish, but I don't know if I want that in my comment section. Some of y'all wild. Some of y'all into some different shit. Let me know about your addictions and what you did to get past it. Because if you haven't subscribed, quit playing. Hit the button, subscribe immediately. Remember, every time we watch this, we have to use this. But even more so, we have to use this.